Church, in the eternal words of Beyonce, you mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama. But what do you get when you mix French, Italian, Spanish, and Creole? Well, apparently you get the new Pope. Now, for all of y'all that had lives that couldn't keep up, Pope Leo's father was of French and Italian descent. His mother was of Spanish descent, and according to a new report, his maternal grandparents were of Creole lineage, okay? According to a census report from the 1900s. Now, they reportedly lived in the 7th Ward of New Orleans before moving to Chicago, and they were listed in the records as black. So, do you know what this means, church? We finna have a cookout at the Vatican.
Hey friends, so it turns out there is some breaking news in regard to Pope Leo XIV. Now, if you're like me or like anybody else who was paying a lot of attention this afternoon during his revealing ceremony, you wondered like, ooh, he got a little bit of a tan, right? And in my mind, I was like, yeah, I guess it's giving like spicy white. It's Jeff Goldblum, but make it like papal realness. So I was like, okay. In this post, Andre Kern says, breaking news for anyone who clocked the Pope's tan. Fellow genealogist Jerry Christopher Honora just shared that Pope Robert Francis Prevost descends from Louisiana Creoles of color through his grandmother, Louise Baki, born in New Orleans in 1868, and Haitian ancestry through his grandfather, Joseph Martinez, born in Port-au-Prince in 1864. And so Kearns provides receipts of the grandfather's birth record as well as the grandparents' marriage record. And then there's actually a story in New Orleans, like in a New Orleans newspaper, about Prevost heritage, about his family, about where they used to live, about how they got from New Orleans. So now the black folks are like, we went from my president is black to my Pope is black-ish. What we are just learning in piecing together every part of Pope Leo's identity, Cardinal Prevost's identity, is how much of a multitude he represents, right? I also hope it's a consolation to the people who, when it was announced that he was the first American Pope, really were afraid that we just got like some non-spicy white guy for Pope. It turns out that he got a little seasoning on him, and that's pretty exciting, right? A little seasoning, a little Tony Chachere's, little slap yo mama. This is exciting. It gets more exciting by the moment, right?
So you telling me the new Pope is not only an American, but he is from O Block? He's from O Block? Out of all the places in the world, bro, he's from the most stereotypical American place. The only other like stereotypical American place would probably be like LA, like California or something. But O Block is insane work.
Don't call it a comeback, y'all, but for those of y'all who are hoping for a black pope, we might have just got one. Cardinal Robert Prevost, who popped out right here as Pope Leo XIV earlier today, he actually has Creole ancestry, apparently, descended from Creoles of color and Haitians down south. So, yeah, go read the story on Black Catholic Messenger.
Hey my people, Grace here once again. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that from wherever you my lovelies are watching this from, you're doing alright and God has protected you and preserved you very well. I appreciate all of you that keep supporting. For the super thanks and super chats, I do appreciate you, and my members, a shout out to you guys. You do me great. Yes, we do have another interesting episode to look and dive into, right? Yes, apparently there are news that are going quite viral that the new Pope has a bit of spice in him. Yeah, remember, so many people have been wanting to actually have a black pope, right? But from the genealogy of him, it looks like there's blackness in him, and it's gotten a lot of black people reacting both positively, and of course there are those negative comments saying, you know what, you should stop claiming people that don't claim you because he never claimed to be black. Why do you guys tie yourselves on him, right? This is quite a lot, but we are going to look at all these stitches, reactions from our people who come back and talk about it. And I want you guys to let me know what you think. By one drops rule, do you think the Pope is black? And how is that going to be beneficial to the black community? If at all it is going to be beneficial to the Black community. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it, and yes.
Hey friends, so it turns out there is some breaking news in regard to Pope Leo the 14th. Now, if you're like me or like anybody else who was paying a lot of attention this afternoon during his revealing ceremony, you wondered like, ooh, he got a little bit of a tan, right? And in my mind, I was like, yeah, I guess it's giving like spicy white. It's Jeff Goldblum, but make it like papal realness. So I was like, okay, I'll go with it, right? So we started our time together in, getting to know Pope Leo the 14th, aka Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost. We were getting to know him as the first American Pope, right? The first American Pope who is the least American of the Americans. That's what I love about him. And part of that is because he has dual citizenship between North America and South America, in Peru in particular, right? Part of that citizenship in Peru is cultural. It is because his parents have heritage there, his mother in particular. But then there was this breaking news that I've been seeing disseminating all around social media, right? And the first time I saw it was from someone named Andre Kearns, who is a genealogist who was sharing news from a fellow genealogist. So in this post, Andre Kearns says, breaking news for anyone who clocked the Pope's tan. Fellow genealogist Jerry Christopher Honora just shared that Pope Robert Francis Prevost descends from Louisiana Creoles of color through his grandmother, Louise Blk, born in New Orleans in 1868, and Haitian ancestry through his grandfather, Joseph Martinez, born in Port-au-Prince in 1864. And so Kearns provides receipts of the grandfather's birth record as well as the grandparents' marriage record. And then there's actually a story in New Orleans, like in a New Orleans newspaper, about Prevost heritage, about his family, about where they used to live, about how they got from New Orleans to Chicago, because that was a migrational pattern for people in the late 19th and early 20th century. And so now the Black folks are like, we went from my president is Black to my Pope is Black-ish. What we are just learning in piecing together every part of Pope Leo's identity, Cardinal Prevost identity, is how much of a multitude he represents, right? And how global he actually is. I do think it's important to think about him as a Pope of the Americas, right? Not simply American. I think when we say American, puts him in danger of being one thing and one thing alone, right? Waving an American flag when in actuality, you need to be waving an American flag and a Peruvian flag and, whatever, an umbrella for New Orleans, a hot dog for Chicago, or actually, I guess, a deep dish pizza, right? All of this to say is that it seems like pretty clear to me that Pope Leo the 14th is a more global pope, more global than anybody realized. And I also hope it's a consolation to the people who, when it was announced that he was the first American pope, really were afraid that we just got like some non-spicy white guy for pope. It turns out that he got a little seasoning on him, and that's pretty exciting, right? A little seasoning, a little Tony Chachere's, little slap yo mama. This is exciting. It gets more exciting by the moment, right? Still prayerfully, but yeah, we are on the up and up, people. Prayerfully on the up and up. And I am happy that really it did go from who's calling that shit to they not like us, and to finding out Pope Leo the 14th is actually like us.
As Black people, if we're going to be against white supremacy, we need to be against all forms and all fronts of white supremacy. Why are we upholding the one drop rule? This Pope that you guys are trying to claim as Black is absolutely ridiculous. That man is not Black. I don't care if he had a half Black ancestor that was Black decades ago. He's not Black. Stop this whole one drop rule. Stop it. I want to claim everything, bro. And this is the problem with the black race as a whole. I'm not upholding no one drop rule. If you got one black great grandparent and everybody else is white, you're not black. Stop it. We're not doing this white passing stuff no more. Stop it. If one of your great ancestors was black, and that black person had a baby with a white person, and they continue to have babies with white people and white people and white people, that new person is white. Stop it. I don't care about no census decades ago that listed white people with one drop of blood or one ancestor with black that was black, putting them as black on the census. That's what happened. We just watched Sinners. Mary in Sinners. That's not a black woman. And that's the problem. Y'all didn't even catch what happened with her in Sinners. The dangers of this situation. And now you guys are trying to get behind this Pope and say that this Pope is black. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves. Stop it, please. Get rid and take the shackles of white supremacy off of you as a black person. Please. Stop upholding the one drop rule. Please.
Church, in the eternal words of Beyonce, you mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama. But what do you get when you mix French, Italian, Spanish, and Creole? Well, apparently you get the new Pope. Now, for all of y'all that had lives that couldn't keep up, Pope Leo's father was of French and Italian descent. His mother was of Spanish descent, and according to a new report, his maternal grandparents were of Creole lineage, okay? According to a census report from the 1900s. Now, they reportedly lived in the 7th Ward of New Orleans before moving to Chicago, and they were listed in the records as black. So, do you know what this means, church? We finna have a cookout at the Vatican. Hey, cousin, y'all bring the hamburgers and the hot dogs. I'ma bring the music before I let go to Frankie Beverly and the Beyonce versions, okay? Now, y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this situation, and we'll talk later. You make me happy.
The Pope is black, you can't convince me he's not. He's black like Mary from Sinners is black. They're passing. It's okay. Pope Leo's mother's parents are from a black community in New Orleans in the 7th Ward. Pope Leo's grandfather is from Haiti and he identified as mulatto, but was also called black. His grandmother is New Orleans Creole. By your one-drop rule, he's black. When they came to America, they switched races. This is from Nicole Hannah-Jones. The Pope's paternal grandfather is from Haiti. His family switched racial identities when they moved north. Nicole Hannah-Jones. I didn't give a whit about new Pope coverage, but the first American Pope being a man with black ancestry born in Chicago by way of New Orleans, by way of Haiti, named himself after the Pope who condemned slavery in the Trump era. Oh, baby, I am here for it. Hells yeah. The Pope is black, yo.
So because the Pope's grandfather was born in Haiti, does that mean that he looked black like me? No, it doesn't, okay? The Pope, according to the Stitch video, the Pope's grandfather has parents who were born in Louisiana. The Pope's grandfather was born in Haiti. Therefore, there is a census record for the Pope's grandfather's parents that lists them as black. But he doesn't look racially black. He's listed as black. Why is that? Because in the United States of America, our heritage, black heritage, follows the one drop rule. This is why black Americans can look a whole different array, okay? And they can be African American, all right? Sometimes you can't look at us and tell it because it's not always in the skin, okay? This is the case for his great grandparents. They were listed as black. That's because they had a drop of black blood in them. They were one of those quadroons or octoroons or something like that. That's what they would call them. So black, boom. And they were considered black. Now, when people think about, let me go all the way back, because when people think about the 1700s and the 1800s and black people, and they think about free black people and enslaved black people, the common thing is to think about someone that you can see as racially black. That's not always the case. There were some enslaved people who look just as white as your next door neighbor because they had a black forefather. Their mother could have been black. Their grandparent could have been black. Their mother was born enslaved and she could look white. Yeah, because of who her father was. See, and you're born enslaved, and you can look like a white person or be very, very, very light, very, very light. Okay, it wasn't always okay. You're brown or you're dark brown or you're black or whatever, and you that skin tone. No, you could actually look like a white person, and you are Black American in America. Yes. That's how it works. So that's how it's going on with the Pope. Okay. And like his grandmother, she has pictures of the grandmother saying she's Louisiana Creole. And Louisiana Creoles are mixed with a lot of stuff. Okay. Including African. Okay. So yeah, you got African American. If you're Louisiana Creole, you got African American. You may have some French. You may have some of this, you may have some of that, you may have a lot of stuff. But yeah, she has the pictures. But that's all. I mean, you could literally go and you could see someone is enslaved and you'd be like, how are they enslaved? She's white. No, she's not. She's black. So that's how history works. And that's why, in my book, did I put this in my book? I might have. In my book, The 6-Figure Pay Withheld from the Enslaved. I was talking something about that. You really can't. The heritage was passed through the mother, as far as if you were free and what you were going to be considered. And I know a lot of people. I got a comment talking about someone you are with what your father is. No, you're not. Not here. That's a cultural thing. That's depending on where you are, because here in the United States of America, especially back then, you are not what your father was. No, you were no. No, you are what your mother is. Because if your mother was black and she was enslaved, guess what you were going to be? If your mother looked white, but had black ancestry, and she was born enslaved, when she has children, even if her children look white, they're going to be enslaved. Unless they go and pass. That's how it was. It had nothing to do with who your father was. Your father could be Thomas Jefferson because he did have a whole black family. Okay, your whole entire heritage was based off your maternity, your maternal life. So, and people came on my comments talking about you're what your father. No. You can't put you can't put your culture onto somebody else's culture, because every culture doesn't go by the paternal line. And when it comes to African Americans, your heritage was formed through your mother. During the times, it was formed through your mother. During the times of slavery. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
So you telling me the new Pope is not only an American, but he is from O Block? He's from O Block? Out of all the places in the world, bro, he's from the most stereotypical American place. The only other, stereotypical American place would probably be, LA, California or some shit. But O Block is insane work. Like when people were using those memes, like, oh, the new pope, like the new pope reincarnated as Von or whatever that shit was called, right? Or Von reincarnated as him. I thought they was playing. Oh no, it was dead ass. Like, and a lot of y'all already know I want the Filipino pope to win, so like, shout out to the Philippines. But like, I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this. Like, I didn't know he was from O Block, bro. This is like insane work. And people are already making t-shirts about this shit. Like, they didn't even give it time to marinate. They already making merch, bro. These TikTok shop dudes just don't know when to quit, bro. They already know I'm Christian but not Catholic, so hopefully he does good in the Catholic work.
So, how long? How long do you think it's going to take before the white supremacists realize that Pope Leo is black? Not only does he have African ancestry, but Haitian ancestry. And it's all making sense now because the few social media posts that Pope Leo has done has all been correcting J.D. Vance and calling out J.D. Vance for his hatred and bigotry. And that makes so much sense now. Recently, there was a genealogist that broke down Pope Leo's roots, so I just want to talk about it a bit. Expert Jari Hanara, who's a Louisiana Creole expert, traced Pope Leo's ancestry to the black community of New Orleans. And we all know that he's a Chicago boy, but his maternal ancestors lived in the Crescent City before they migrated to Chicago in the early 20th century. Now, according to the U.S. Census, and they've pulled these documents already, his mother is the late Mildred Martinez, and she was of mixed race. She's the daughter of black property owners, Haitian-born Joseph Martinez, and New Orleans native Louis Baquier, who is a Creole. And in that, technically, he would be considered the first black pope in the history of the Catholic Church. Now, it's unclear how he actually identifies. And there's definitely other articles that point to this that were written like years ago. I mean, this is resurfacing and coming back out, obviously now that he's the newly elected pope, but they've covered this before. I will say that this pope is pretty global with the fact that he's a Peruvian citizen, he has Latinx roots, he has African roots. He's definitely, talked about immigrant and refugee justice. He's called out J.D. Vance for his bigotry and hatred towards the immigrant and refugee community. It is all making sense. So, white smoke, black pope.
Chicago, land of the popes, home of the brave. Fuck you talking about? Of course we got the first pope. What are you saying? To be honest, Chicago had the first black pope, so this is nothing. Chicago people love talking about Chicago. I'm sorry, do you have the first American pope? I don't think so. This is nothing. Chicago, home of the popes, land of the brave. And bitch, they billing him from the south side. Another win for the south side. Exactly, King. Y'all saw how my Chicago King slid out? He slid out yeah, I got that shit on there, pope shit on. He ain't claim out west. He ain't claim over east. He ain't say he was from up north. Southside, bitch. Fuck you talking about? He claiming out south, but he a Cubs fan. You know what? That mean that man is durable. He's built to last. What's up, boys? Yeah, I made it. Oh, man. The boys at home go eat this shit up. I don't know. When my stepdad and them be like, this our year, we got this, I might have to believe y'all. I might have to believe this is the Bears year. Y'all really might take this shit. Y'all really might have a party up in the city. I don't know. Wait till the arch hear about this one. Wait till, I gotta delete my Facebook. I can't even be on Facebook no more. I can't even upload this one on Facebook. But they gonna do it for me. Oh my God. I got that shit on, man. That Pope shit on. This is funny to me for many reasons because I went to Catholic school and I work marketing for Catholic schools. So to those parents that don't know who the Pope is but send their kids to Catholic school, you're about to find out who the Pope is. You're about to find out so much about the Pope.
Y'all know I had to say something because y'all Catholics never escaping the cunty allegations. I swear to God. Because this Pope situation, this whole week, I have been living for this shit. I have been watching the smoke thing. I was like, oh, this is cinema. This is what this is. Them Cardinals was like, Bobby, get your people together. And they were right. They were correct. They were like, nip that shit in the bud. I was nervous when I first heard he was American. I was like, oh, he's a white man. He's an older white man. I was like, oh shit. But then I was listening to the BBC and they set my fears at rest. Now I'm still waiting to hear about how he feel about the leg booty community, because that's important. But I've heard that he's offered sympathy to George Floyd's family in the past through retweets on Twitter, right? He's also pushed against J.D. Vance. He's pushed against the administration. We love to see it. And in his speech, he was speaking Spanish to Peruvians, because that's where he has dual citizenship and stuff like that. We love a multicultural king. We love that shit. Well, not a literal king, because, you know, people trying to be a little too literal with that recently. But hey, I fucks with it. I do. And it sounds like he has the potential to be a really good thing. The reporters at the BBC was feeling him. They was feeling the language. They said he was continuing some of Francis's stuff. They said the Pope, he's picking the name after, or however that works. The Leo, whatever, was the social Pope, because he focused a lot on social issues, social justice. Could be a good thing. Could be. Again, we gotta check in on the leg booty community. But I'm optimistic. Apparently, he said some stuff in the past, but I think that was like over a decade ago. Things have changed. Maybe he could look at it differently. I understand that not everybody is bought into the Pope and Catholicism and stuff like that, but the Pope is important. Okay. Obviously. Did you see that ceremony today? First of all, I don't know what the name of the church is. If that tells you anything about how much I know about Catholicism, we finna change that though. It's finna be my hyperfixation. But is it St. Peter's Cathedral? Wherever he was giving the speech, right? When them bells rung at the end, I got goosebumps. I was like, that's the only kind of goosebumps you get when something fantabulous was happening. Okay? A diva was rising today. A diva rose today. Took the mantle. And I love to see it. Oh, I forgot the best part. MAGA is pissed. That's how you know it's a good sign. They call him the Marxist. What is it? The Marxist woke Pope. Don't get near him, J.D. Vance.
So where are the pictures of the Pope's ancestors? This commenter is asking. This was his grandfather, the one that was born in Haiti, remembering that his parents were both born in Louisiana. The guy that I just showed you is listed as black on the census, likely because he was born in Louisiana and did have some black in him. So that's going to be that guy right there. Now, I could not find a picture of these guys, and this picture would have been posted by a family member in the trees. Now, these guys, I do have a picture of. This guy was white, Italian. This one is the cause for the son being listed as mulatto, and she, you can tell, has some black in her. So they are Pope Leo's third great grandparents. These are the photos attached to his ancestors and would have been added by other family members, cousins of his, second cousins, whoever has them built in their tree. And that's where Ancestry pulls these pictures from. They have to be added by family members in order to be on Ancestry. Now, there are other photos that you can find when building your tree on Ancestry when it comes to, especially in the States, high school yearbook photos. There are plenty of those. Canadians don't have that option because there are no yearbook photos online for Canada.
And this story right here is fascinating. Records show that Pope Leo also has black family roots in New Orleans. ABC News uncovered U.S. Census records from the early 1900s that shows the first American Pope's family tree. Both of his maternal grandparents identified themselves as black or mulatto in several census documents. His two aunts also identified as black. On their marriage license, his grandfather listed his birthplace as Haiti. However, his birth records show he was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. The birth records of the Pope's grandmother show she was born in New Orleans. However, in 1920, after the family migrated to Chicago, they marked down their race as white. It appears like so many families fleeing the South at that time, they shifted their racial identity. So many people talking about this online. I mean, it's just fascinating to see his lineage.
Absolutely, and very interesting in terms of his role as, a bridge builder between cultures. I think that's to me, that's the takeaway here, where he has this history, his family, and he is now in this position, a worldwide position where he's there and can kind of bridge cultural gaps in so many different ways.
Yeah, and just in talking to many Black Catholics in the Chicago area, this is a story that certainly resonates with them. So we'll be sure to stay on top of it with this new revelation here.
It's so bad in America right now. The Catholic Church just said, give them a pope. They need all of the divine intervention to survive 47. So they just said, give them a pope. 1,000 years. Never in the history it's ever happened. They said, yeah, 2025, America needs Jesus. I mean, I'm not religious, but whatever it takes. Sure, fine. This is where we're at. Cool.
Man, the Pope is really from America. And not only America, but Illinois. And not only Illinois, but Chicago. And not only Chicago, but the south side of Chicago. And not only is he from the south side of Chicago, he's a White Sox fan. Oh my God. The Pope, the religious leader of over 1 billion people across the world. Chicago, y'all really got y'all one. Southside, Hyde Park, Inglewood, Woodlawn, Washington Park, Bridgeport, Kenwood, O-Block, 79th. You know what? I know I'm not from Chicago. I know this may not be politically correct, but the Pope is from the South Side. Man, shout out 63rd. Use this to y'all's advantage to bring the people of Chicago together. Okay, you don't got to be Catholic to be excited about this, all right? I'm proud as an American, but I'm a Southerner. You Midwesterners, you Chicagoans, y'all gotta be feeling like, oh my, y'all can go to his house. Like y'all can go see it. It's up the street. We've never had an American Pope before. And the man is from the south side of Chicago, dog. One time my boy Pope Leo the 14th. Chi-Town. And you say Chi-City, Chirac. The Pope really might throw up the forks and ain't nobody gonna trip.
Like I was concluding in my introduction on here, I said, how is that going to be beneficial to the Black community? I understand that having a Black Pope, to be honest, that is to have someone that is non-partisan. That is to have someone that has empathy for all, because that's what we do. We don't just look at our people alone. We look at serving everybody. Everybody is going to be satisfied. But do you think that the Pope claims Blackness? Or I feel like, does that even have to matter? Like, I'm just really asking myself and some questions that I am asking you guys. Because I understand that people are digging to see, his roots and all of that. But to me, I don't think it's going to matter, especially if he really don't care so much for the roots, because it's a possibility that people really don't care where I come from. All I care for is really serving the people. But from the look of things and his stances on so many things, political issues, especially the current administration in the US of Donald Trump, and how he spoke about slavery and his stance on J.D. Vance, it looks like so many people are growing to love him, especially those that are not on the side of Donald Trump. Now you do have quite a number of those from the MAGAs, and they have quite a lot to say. They are saying that his walk, which is probably an episode that I have to bring here so we look at it, because it is very interesting. Yeah, there are those that are accusing him of being woke simply because he's talking about the social issues that needs to actually be addressed by any leader of a global majority or a global big following, which he quite has a number of people that he's going to be influencing, just like Pope Francis was. So I will bring that episode as well. But from what it looks like, Black people are liking him because of his stance on J.D. Vance and the current administration, Donald Trump, and his stance on, immigration, I think. Yeah. So I really don't know, because he's supposed to be, again, a global leader for everybody. Now I'm not a Catholic, so I don't have any expectations from him. But quite a number of people that are saying, oh, you know, him being American, of course, I don't know what a typical American behavior would be, but so many people were, you know, kind of just looking twice on that and picking on that. I don't know what America has done to the world, because nobody wants anything to do with America, to be honest. But yeah, I think for the Catholics, he represents them. Hopefully he does serve them as their expectations are, both black, white. Personally, I don't see him just having a one stance on just black people, but hopefully he does what people were expecting him to do. But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think he's black by just one rule, one drop rule or something, or he's just a white man to you? Put your thoughts in the comment section. I think from me for today, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it. And yeah, until then, my name is Chrissy. I love all of you. Stay safe out there. Bye.